There's a lot of transition going on right now. I think 2025 is the year of change for a lot of people. There's so many different career changes going on. People are shifting. I think this is a very powerful year numerology wise. We just celebrated my son's 19th birthday, May 25th, and it's 5/25/25. And I listened to Joe Dispenza talking about the 555 portal and how powerful that number is, and to say, I am welcoming the abundance and blessings that Earth's going to bring to me, or the universe or God, whatever you believe brings to me, and I allow it to come. And today I want to talk about specifically like how you don't need to change everything in your life at one time, because it's very hard to maintain, and kind of it's overwhelming for someone to be like, I gotta change everything at once. You really just need that 1% shift daily towards the goals that you say you want. And that's something we're going to talk about today. How can that 1% shift rule, which has been spoken about many, many times, I'm not the first, I'm not going to claim to be the first, can really radically change your business, your life, anything that you want, if you kind of not have to do an all or nothing kind of thinking when you're making changes in your life. I'm Alicia Soikawa of The Empowered Woman, and today we're going to talk about change and how just little shifts are huge. And there is a misnomer or a myth of overnight change, overnight success. We see it all the time. The news, the headlines, social media love to show one night there was a peasant and the next day they became queen. That kind of Cinderella story that, magically they just showed up. Someone like Michael Phelps, he was coming through across my feed recently talking about the rigorous schedule. He worked out 10 workouts a week, and his workouts were not just 30 minutes or an hour, but they were hours long, and how much he would eat. And he lived, breathed, everything he did was for his sport to become the top of what he was. But it didn't start out that way. And I think the years and years and years of quiet, they say what you do in private will be celebrated in public later on. And then there's a lot of those stories like that out there. A lot of founders in business. If you listen to the Founders podcast, you'll hear it. Anybody that runs a company, anybody that has done different things in their life and made challenges, they're not going to talk about all the things that didn't work, because it's kind of not fun to go back and relive all your failures. But 100% of the time, these people that achieve wild success or changes in their life or growth or evolution are happy to talk to you if you sit down with them and tell you about all the things that went wrong, the things they lost, the mistakes they made. And I think that's something that we hide and we have shame for. And that's why I talk about the 1% shift rule, is that you feel like if you're not on that trajectory that you're not doing it, so you'll just throw it all out and say, I give up, I'm not doing it. But instead, if you think about, it doesn't have to be overnight, you can think about the little micro changes. They say that, the butterfly effect of, gosh, in history, if one little thing changed, it would have changed everything else, right? Atomic Habits talks about that. The tipping point. There's a lot of little books written about that 1%. Even in plastic surgery, they interviewed, I heard this at a Tony Robbins conference, I can't remember which one, if it was Date with Destiny or Unleash the Power. They talked about the importance of change and that 1% rule when you're changing your life. It's like plastic surgery, the number one plastic surgeon in the world. It's not 10%. It's not 25% change. It's literally a very micro change, a 1% shift that makes the face look completely different. And we don't have to go in and run a marathon. We don't have to go in and overhaul every single thing in our life. Just like if you want to organize your home, you don't go into it saying, we're going to organize the home top to bottom all in one day or 1 week. It's probably going to be a months and months and months practice and project over time, considering you have life to live, and most people have so many things and things to go through. So I think a thing is, number one, giving yourself permission that the micro habits are going to lead to lots of change. There's something called leading and lagging habits. Leading are the little things, like if you're wanting to lose weight, it's eating well, exercising, sleeping so that your body makes sense, taking your supplements, drinking water. All those little things are leading if you focus on them daily and consistently. That the lagging is that you will be healthy, vital, fit, and of the right weight that you want to be. That's kind of a basic explanation of what leading and lagging. And so when I have clients in real estate and they're like, I don't have a deal, I want to know, I ask the question specifically, what are your leading behaviors? How many calls are you making? How many appointments are you going on? Who are you connecting with genuinely? Who are you asking business with, or what are you avoiding because you don't want to do it? And oftentimes it's because they're in the middle of a deal themselves right now that they're so caught up, they're not doing all of those activities. So when that deal is closed and finished, sure enough, there's no new business. So that would be another example. leading and lagging. So it's really important to think about what is the 1% you need to do every day to move forward. So if it's a habit you're trying to reinstill, like getting to bed, so maybe the habit is at a certain time your alarm goes off and you get ready for bed and you go to bed, and every day you get up at the same time. Just those two little things, going to bed at a certain time and getting up at a certain time, will probably make other changes happen in your life. And that's literally less than 1%, I would think, of a change. So that's another example. So, if you think about this too, if you're trying to get more steps in, like I know there's a conscious effort now for me, I'm trying to get the 10,000 steps in because I watched this influencer, and it's really true. Sometimes we beat ourselves up for not having an intense intensity workout, sweating our brains out. But if we just focused instead on moving our bodies daily, constantly, because I sit a lot doing Zooms, or I'm driving to showings, or doing things like that, where I'm not necessarily active and moving about, that if I make a conscious effort to walk the dogs, to go on a walk myself, to listen to a podcast while I'm walking, to pop in a 20-minute cycle ride in between coaching calls, that's an active conscious effort, or 1% move to move my body forward. And so these are the types of things that I think people need to kind of keep in mind when they're trying to grow and go to the next level, so you don't beat yourself up. I think there's so much beating of the self up because I'm not perfect. And remember, perfect is the lowest standard because it does not exist. There's no perfection. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, what do you determine success, right? What is success? What is abundance to you is going to be different. What's abundance to me and your friend and your mom? Everybody has different definitions of abundance / success. I like to say abundance because success is such a loaded word, because it's always tied and wrapped up in money and prestige and like position in life, whereas abundance can be like, are you abundantly in love? Are you abundant in health? Are you abundant in family? Are you abundant in friendships? Are you abundant in time? Like, that's probably the biggest asset, right? Time. We've done a many videos on time and time blocking. Those are really key things to kind of think about. Like, where do I want abundance in my life? And where is the 1% shift that can change my life to make my life that much better? So I challenge you to do that. I'm curious what you call abundant, because I think it's different for everybody. And so I'm so fascinated to hear what one person would call abundant and someone else is like, no, that's not abundant. This is. It's just like types of food and meals. Everybody likes something different, and you don't have to have something that someone else has. And I think sometimes we do that because we don't know what we want. So then we see something and they look happy. That's what I want, but you don't really want it. So I challenge you to take a minute and be still in your heart and figure out what's abundance to you. What is the 1% you need to do every single day? And understanding that consistency over time, not meaning 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, meaning year after year after year, 365 days a year. That's consistency. And if it means you skip a couple weeks and you get back on, guess what? That's still consistent because you got back on. And little by little, that time in between of you doing the things you say you want to do gets smaller and smaller. That's actual growth. And that's the 1% we're talking about. So if this video landed on you, I would love to hear the comments below on what you consider abundant. What are you struggling with? And as always, I'm here, and shoot me a comment. I'd love a like and subscribe and a comment and listen on for more. There's so many things happening right now with me. I can just feel so many changes going on, and you're watching it all in real time, which is exciting to share with you. Till next time, take care.